Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. This is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog headlines for the week. I talk about some new prog singles that have come out and give you updates on the channel and what's going on here. And it is June 2nd, 2023, and I thought it was a little bit of a light news week, so it's more of a quick hits kind of thing going on, but some really interesting items, some cool new releases coming out today, and some interesting singles to check out. So there's always something here, so please subscribe if you haven't yet. It would really help the channel to get some more subscriptions going. The channel's been growing pretty well. I've been pretty excited about it. I'm grateful for all of you that have been supporters of this channel. It's really great, and I'm just really grateful for all the love that I've been getting. So thank you guys so much, and let's jump into the prog headlines. So item number 1, new releases for today. We've got Einar Solberg's new album 16, a solo album from the Leprous frontman, a very cool album that's maybe more avant pop, but with some progressive leanings, a little bit in that progressive metal space, but a little less of the heavy, guitars and things like that, but more emotionally heavy with a lot of orchestration and strings and horns and some great cello work and just really emotional and personal from Einar. I did a review of it just yesterday, so please check that one out. A really cool album that I think many of you will dig. Also coming out today, I was surprised. I thought this was coming out next week, but Lars, Fredrik, Froslie with Fire Fortelinger, which is Wobbler's keyboardist, really one of my favorite modern symphonic prog bands, Wobbler, and this has that Wobbler spirit all about it. It's really cool, really well executed, some great vintage keyboards and early 70s progressive sounds, just a really great release and really cool. And some other cool ones that are maybe more related to prog, but not prog totally. Dirt Poor Robin's released an EP, the Firebird EP, which is 4 tracks that are going to be featured on an upcoming full-length album to come later this year. All 4 tracks are really great. Some 80s pop influence in there, but always done in their really eclectic style, and they're just such a great group, one of my favorites, and that's been one I've really been loving. I'm going to have a single in that from that record in the prog singles list, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Also, Foo Fighters have a new album, But Here We Are. This is post the passing of their drummer, Taylor Hawkins, so a really emotional and interesting album. More of a straightforward rock album, of course, but there is a 10-minute track which we will feature on the prog singles, so more to come on that also. And I've been hearing some buzz from the new Avenged Sevenfold album, Life Is But a Dream, which is more in the heavier metal space, not really too associated with prog, besides the fact that Mike Portnoy played drums with them on the album Nightmare. But I hear that this is really a conceptual record with a lot of different sounds and styles to it, so it's one I'm going to check out. I'm really interested to hear what it's all about, but obviously there's going to be some of their trademark metal style to it, and so it may not be to the average prog listener's taste necessarily, but maybe eclectic and interesting enough to be worth checking out. So something I'm going to be looking into, and I'm sure there's other releases. It seemed like a pretty big release day for a lot of different things, so let me know in the comments if there's other releases I may have missed on my little short list here. Item number 2, Crack the Sky to release brand new album From the Wood in June. Actually next week, it seems, on June 9th. Crack the Sky is a U.S. prog rock sextet. They've been around the scene for quite some time, I believe, back from the 70s. One of the few U.S. prog acts from the 70s that people really like. Their last album was 2020's Tribes, and this album is going to be, of course, focused on a lot of the hardships that were faced during this pandemic era, so that should be their exploration of it. And it seems like it's more of an acoustic style album, perhaps, done more on acoustic guitar like they did back in their earlier days, rather than on electric guitar like more modern stuff. But I think it should be a really cool, interesting record that's coming out from a somewhat legendary prog act that I thought I should mention. Item number 3, Karnataka to release Requiem for a Dream in July. This is a UK prog act. And they have some really fascinating, cool releases that have come out in recent years. So this is adding to that. The album's called Requiem for a Dream, their new studio album, first new studio album in 8 years, through Imarama Records on July 28th. It's featuring some interesting newer recorded debuts from some different members. We've got vocalist Sertari, guitarist Luke Machin, and keyboard player Rob Wilshire, and drummer Chris Allen. So a lot of new blood from their last record, 2015 Secret of Angels. So just another cool release to check out. It should be really cool. The band say that we really feel this is our strongest work to date, a beautifully crafted production which weaves together ambitious, epic at times arrangements, lush vocal harmonies, and soundscapes that envelop the listener in an otherworldly embrace, an immersive auditory experience that takes you on a journey through the depths of human emotions, touching upon themes of love, loss, hope, climate change, and the universal threads of the human experience. So, and it also features Nightwish's multi-instrumentalist Troy Donockley, and mixed by engineer Joe Gibb and mastering engineer Pete Maher. So should be a cool album, one I wanted to point out there. So item number 4, Steven Wilson remakes of Hawkwind's Warrior on the Edge of Time is getting a vinyl release. This is a 1975 classic album released on vinyl for the first time through Adam Hinge Records on June 30th. The remakes by Steven Wilson was actually included on a 2013 deluxe box set and 3-disc clamshell set reissue of the album, but this is the first time it's appearing on vinyl. So really a highlight of Hawkwind's career, featuring a lineup of Dave Brock, Nick Turner, Lemmy, Simon House, Simon King, and Alan Powell. The album's loosely based on Michael Moorcock's novel The Eternal Champion. So this should be a really cool release for those who like this classic Hawkwind sound. The new vinyl edition has been cut at Abbey Road, makes from original master tapes, and faithfully reproduces the original album's fold-out shield sleeve artwork and picture inner bag of original 1975 vinyl release. So should be a cool new release to check out. And speaking of new releases to check out, item number 5, Devin Townsend announces Empath Live in America will be released in August through Inside Out Music. The actual date is August 4th. This should be really cool. Of course, Devin Townsend is really an eclectic artist who leans in sometimes more extreme metal styles, really known for a quirky kind of eccentric aesthetic, maybe not unlike Frank Zappa or some of those characters, but really unique in his style and really clever in how he puts together his music. And Empath is a recent release that I think really showed him at the top of his game and able to really blend a lot of different styles and feels into a really cool mixing pot of interesting things. So the lineup for this tour saw Devin joined by former Frank Zappa guitarist Mike Keneally, former Haken keyboardist Diego Tejeda, Nathan Navarro, Morgan Agron, and Che Amy. Really a cool lineup, a lot of great musicians in that mix, and I'm sure this will be an incredible package because that's what Devin Townsend's known for, is releasing these really cool releases that will have a lot of cool stuff on board and a lot of great music. And he's one of the most exciting live acts I think in this prog space, so it'll definitely be an exciting package to check out. It'll be available as a limited CD digipack, gatefold 180 gram 2LP, and a digital album as well. Really unique tour that will be documented here, that was cut short by the pandemic, so a unique opportunity to experience it in this live format on these different mediums. So that should be really cool to check out. And now on to our Prog singles list, some interesting singles coming out. Soen announced their new album coming out called Memorial on September 1st, so they've released a single from it called Unbreakable that I'm putting in my Prog list. Of course, kind of a melancholy, more metal style track, but really well done and really cool with a great groove to it. I put on the Foo Fighters track The Teacher, which is a really interesting 10-minute long epic of sorts. Of course, it's done in the typical Foo Fighters rock style, so it's not really an out-and-out prog, excursion by any stretch. But it's a really thoughtful piece that has a little bit of tinges of maybe some psychedelic kind of sounds, but really baked in their typical rock style. It's dedicated to the memory of the band's late, much-loved drummer Taylor Hawkins and Dave Grohl's mother, Virginia, this new album. So it's a really great track that really is impactful and probably the highlight of the record. They're going to be touring soon with their new drummer Josh Freese. Upcoming tour dates. I guess they've played in on May 30th, so they've already been starting some touring, but there should be some dates to come. Plenty of tour dates to check out. So a really cool group. And releasing some really good stuff. So number 3, kind of a track I missed that came out last week, I believe, but I wanted to include it here. This is Squid's new track, The Blades, from their upcoming album coming out next week called Oh Monolith. Really cool, eclectic, post-punk type stuff like what Black Midi and Black Country New Road do. But this is just a really cool piece that I really enjoyed. Also, like I mentioned above, Dirt Poor Robin's To the Heights, a new poppier 80s synth style track that I just think is super catchy, super fun, showcasing their fun, eclectic style. I really love that track. And then something I just discovered, the Guru and their new track Lot of Tension from an upcoming album coming out October 27th called Make Less Babies. This is like a really cool combination between like a Frank Zappa and Talking Heads, and just really quirky and really fun and very listenable. It like has a poppy mentality, but done in a really quirky, proggy style. Really cool and really worth checking out. So those were the main items that I had for today. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these mentions, some of these tracks, some of these prog headlines. As for the channel itself, I did 2 reviews this week, both pretty well received. I did Mysteries Redemption, one of my favorite albums of the year. It's a great neo-prog style album with just a great AOR type style. Great emotion, great playing. It's just really top-notch prog. Definitely worth your time and attention. Check out my review if you haven't yet to get a more full description of that one. And then, like I said, Einar Solberg's solo album, the frontman of Leprous, just came out today. I did a review of it yesterday, and it's a fantastic record. Really emotional, really heartfelt, cinematic in scope, beautiful instrumentation, just everything you could want from Einar Solberg. I think he's a really magnificent artist, so well worth your time. Of course, we did a Jenna Reacts or Prog Song Sunday, if you prefer. We did Rush, Free Will last Sunday, so that was a really fun experience. We should have a cool, quirky Gentle Giant track to cover on this upcoming week on Sunday, so that's something to look forward to. I'm going to do a review of the new Seven Impale record, Summit, this week, so that should be, it's a really cool jazz fusion, heavy prog, King Crimson inspired album that I think a lot of you would like. So definitely we'll be talking about that one and excited for that. And then I'm going to do a top 5 talking about some more modern epics. That I've done kind of an epic prog epic series throughout 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now I'm up to 2010s. So I'm going to talk about 5 of my favorite prog epics from the 2010s. So that's what you can expect this week. There's so many great albums being released, almost overwhelming. I want to cover them all, but it's impossible. But I'm going to try to do the highlights, to cover all the ones that have been really close to my heart and that I've been enjoying more than anything else. So look forward to a lot of great reviews coming in the near future, and it's going to be a fun time. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you like this episode, and I hope to catch you guys in a future episode. Enjoy the music, everybody. Bye.